There we go. Okay, so welcome to the day one of the Fairytale Family Book Club with Swamy Pillai, and today's 18th of October 2022. How many limitations and fight that we are having with our family can we let go of on this call and with this call? And everything that doesn't allow us, can we now just run and fit all of it, please? Good and bad, right and wrong, talk and broad, all nine shorts, boys, forwards, and beyonds. What new possibilities with family can we invite with this call today and the upcoming calls? And everywhere they are unwilling to know, we perceive and receive that, can we now just run and fit all of that? Yes, good and bad, right and wrong, talk and broad, all nine shorts, boys, forwards, and beyonds. Hmm. So, couple of names, and I mean, each of the chapter have such a precious wisdom. Oh my God, I mean, it's like phenomenal, phenomenal. I think those of you who have at least skimmed through this would know what I'm speaking about. Anyone who has just skimmed through this? Anyone from this call? No, no one. Okay, good. Well, we can. That will create a different energy. So, what are you familiar making familiar when my family will finally love me? When my prince or princess arrives, because of the topic, whose life are you living? Stop relating and start creating. Blame, a distracted implant. Guilt, the hamster wheel of wrongness. 11th chapter, are you feeling your family? It's an amazing chapter. Narcissistic family, letting the world in. Fairy tale or choosing what works. Happiness, the ultimate superpower, and family member or citizen of the world. And these are amazing. I'm so thrilled to begin this. And recently, we started off with this book club, getting out of that choicefully. And I was so tempted to, as most of you know, we are supposed to be reading only 30% of the book. I was so tempted not to miss out on anything. So I have particularly underlined a couple of sentences, certain paragraphs of each of the chapters, so that we ensure that we touch upon those topics, if not the entire chapter. Yeah. So I'll be just reading bits and pieces. You're welcome to ask questions. You're welcome to ask questions, anything that is going on for you with your family, or anything in the context of what we are reading, or anything else around the family. Yeah. And please know that no questions are wrong questions. There are no stupid questions. Yes. And yeah, at times you may be reluctant to ask some question, perhaps because you don't want to look stupid. But what if you can actually allow yourself to be wrong and allow yourself to appear stupid? Okay. and and get away with this call with something. I mean, I don't want to go to get out of this call knowing that you actually could have asked and got some clarity and you did. Okay. So everywhere we are doing that, and everywhere we have learned it from our school, that asking questions is a sign of weakness. Can we now just run and fit all of it, please? Good and bad, right and wrong, pock and pod, all nine shorts, boys, forwards, and beyonds. And yeah, good. So let us begin. Uh, okay. Okay, so this book is not just about family. This book is also about you stepping beyond the definition of you in relation with your family. Oh, Sheetal, you have shared. Let me cool. And this is level Don't you sometimes wish that your childhood was a fairy tale with a happy ending? Hmm? Are you still trying to get over the nightmare it was? That's okay, Sheetal. Or is it time to embrace the possibilities beyond your past? What else is possible for you? Who are you beyond the familiarity of your life and limitation? Who are you beyond your relationship? Um, as I'm reading through this, I'm getting tempted to not go linearly and just pick up sentences from each chapter just for the first call. Okay. And perhaps from tomorrow, since it's a gift call, I would rather love love all of you to have the energy of this book as much as possible. So I'll be just reading to a couple of sentences, and yeah, and then if there is anything relevant for you to ask, you can ask. Okay, cool. Question for all of you. In fact, this is a question for limitation. Who are you beyond the familiarity of your life and limitation? Who are you beyond your relationships? Most people have no idea who they are beyond the family. Family is an institution in our world that creates the need of constantly being in a relationship. There are thoughts going on in many people's head on this planet. I need to find someone. I need to find my partner. I need to find my people. I cannot live without a relationship. I would be a loser. I would be lonely. I would not be worth much. And perhaps people who are already in relationship, people who already have loved ones around them, perhaps it is not about just a partner. Perhaps it may be about someone who understands them. Okay, someone who truly cares for them, someone who is truly nurturing for them. Okay, so yeah, this kind of thinking dictates how much we live our lives bound to a structure into which we force ourselves. Yeah. What if there is more freedom available for you beyond all of this? And well, family is important. Family is such a big part of our lives. Some love their family, some hate them, some cannot be bothered. Whatever your experience is with your family, what if you could discover a totally different possibility for you? Hmm? What if you could just be rather, what if you could just be rather than longing to be? What if the fairy tale that you thought should be but never was could be replaced by the fairy tale that can be? Hmm? So, um, so Simon, this book is written by Susanne Susanna Mitchell. So she's sharing her experience. While I was writing this book, I became highly aware of what family brings up for most people. Usually it is limitation, yeah, struggle, hardship, rather than ease and possibility. For how many of you this is true? Usually, family brings up limitation, struggle, and hardship rather than ease and possibility. For how many of you this is true, type 1? For those of you who think that family brings up more ease and more possibility, type 2. Let's just engage. Just type in 1 if family brings up limitations, struggle, hardship, stuckness, no choice, less freedom, or family brings up ease, possibility, joy, and contribution. 2, type 2. Okay, 1. 1 for struggle, limitation, hardship, limitation. Okay, cool. What about others? Just type in, it's okay. Nobody has the time here to look at what you have typed. Nobody has the time to judge you. They are busy sorting their own life. Thank you. So, see, Susanna did have a wonderful family. She didn't have to go through the struggle. Okay. So, her story was different. So, I'm going to jump into one particular paragraph. What? Okay, let's see. My family, my parents taught me that I'm not alone and that they are always there for me. Still, I did share of I did share hiding from this world, and I know about the limitation that creates. I know the space of possibility that is available for all of us if we would choose it. Loneliness is the lie people buy. The universe has my back and everybody's back if we are willing to receive it. What if you are the family you always decide for you? What if you are the family you always decide for you, no matter what has been your past? Yeah, like Those of you who think that it's only through family and through loved ones who only if they are there for you would would then you will be able to have the life that you desire. What if it is time to get over looking for somewhere to belong, your people, your group, your man, your woman, and start to receive the ease and peace of being the gift you are to the world. This book will challenge you to access who you truly are. This book is here to get you out of making yourself and this reality serious and significant. Like, just imagine how much uh, have you made a family serious and significant that allows us to get the effect of that. Yeah. Creating your life is way easier if you get over the seriousness and significance that most people function from and turn on your humor and turn yourself on to living. That is the invitation of the book. Okay. Now we are beginning with the first chapter. Mhm. So throughout this book, there will be a lot of questions that will be asked. Okay. And questions open the door to greater possibilities, but answering every question isn't the goal. Every answer is a definition of what you already know and does not allow you to go beyond the limitation you have decided are real. Every answer, like every answer that you are seeking, even from this call, and every answer that you have been seeking from life, is a definition of what you already know and does not allow you to go beyond the limitations you have decided are real. What if you allow this book to be a contribution to your life and help you change what you always desire to change? Yeah. I will not tell you stories. I will not tell you stories just to entertain you. I desire more than that. I am inviting you to more than you have been willing to be. What an amazing invitation. I am inviting you to more than you have been willing to be. Will you receive it? Yeah, there's a question to all of you. Will you receive it? Will you invite you to be more than you have been willing to be? Will you receive you? Type yes or send a thumbs up or yeah, comment. Cool, thank you. So everything that doesn't allow you to receive you, can we all now just run and fit all of that, please? Yes, good and bad, right and wrong, pop and pod, all nine shorts, boys, co-eds, and beyonds. When you do not have a point of view about what life forms you are creating should be or become, you have the possibility to allow them to be greater than you have ever imagined they could be. So all the projections and expectation that you have of you, of that you have of your family, that you have of this call, and that you have of what this call should change for you with regards to your family and with regards to how you feel about your family, can we all know this one and fit all of it, please? Yeah, good and bad, right and wrong, pop and pod, all nine shorts, boys, poets, and beyonds, and what energy, space, and consciousness and choice can we and our body be to invite some different possibility with our family and with ourselves that would create more consciousness and that would allow us to receive the magnificence and the joy of who we truly be. And everything that doesn't allow that, can we all understand and fit all of that, please? Good and bad, right and wrong, walk and pod, all nine shorts, boys, provides, and beyonds. Welcome to finding out who you are beyond what you have decided you are. Welcome to finding out who you are beyond what you have decided you are. What an amazing invitation. And everything that doesn't allow that, and we all know the strong and fit all of the things. Good and bad, right and wrong, cock and pot, all nine shorts, boys, co-eds, and beyonds. I love this. So this is about story. Okay, so that the name of the book, the chapter itself is "Don't Go Above Your Horizon." So this is the metaphor. We will study what exactly this metaphor actually means. As a psychologist and therapist, I have heard countless life stories throughout my career. For most people, those stories are designed to distract from who the person truly is and what they are truly capable of. People love using their stories and their past to determine who they are and to judge what will not be possible for them. How many of you right now have stories that you are telling yourself? Hmm? Perhaps about limitation, perhaps about your family, perhaps about your financial condition, perhaps about your health, and how much you are using those stories to determine who you are and to judge what will not be possible for you. Yes, and everywhere you are doing that and doing that. Can you all now test on and take all of the please? Good and bad, right and wrong, walk and talk, all nine, thoughts, voice, provides, and beyonds. Okay, people coming from an origin of no money, for instance, often use their familiarity of lacking resources to create their lives. Okay, having no money becomes a reference point from which to create. Creating beyond, or as Americans in South would say, going above your reason, is too uncomfortable. They would have to leave the comfort zone of familiarity. When I was 16, I traveled from Austria to Houston, Texas, to go to high school there for 6 months. My parents could not stop me. I spent months and months convincing them about what a great idea this would be. They finally agreed it and they let their little girl go. Only later did I get to know how much courage it took them for letting their 16-year-old daughter travel to another continent, not knowing where she would live or how the school would be, trusting that all would go well, and it did. That leap allowed me to access who I was more than ever before. So here we are exploring this entire metaphor of don't go about your race. So what exactly do they mean? What they mean is you are not supposed to be better, richer, or more successful than the people who raised you. You are not supposed to be better, richer, or more successful than the people who raised you, that is your parents or whosoever brought you up. Okay, so the full expression is don't be more successful than people who raised you. That is the one way that people limit themselves. In order to still be able to belong to their family, just imagine, see, listen to this. This is subconscious, It is so much below a level of awareness, it may not make cognitive sense, but it would require a lot of courage and vulnerability from you to actually look to see what is really true for you. Okay. In order to still be able to belong to their family, they feel that they have no right to improve their lives. Doesn't make sense. However, that is the underlying belief that or a prison that most of the people function from. Okay, are you willing to be greater than your family? Yes, this is a question for all of you. Are you willing to be greater than your family? Yes, not many people are there. They create themselves according to their family limitations rather than out creating them. Yeah, please, most welcome to type and reply in the chat. That would either you can even unmute and talk and reply. That would get the energy of the class even more expansive. So not many people are willing to be greater than their family. How they create instead, they create themselves according to their family limitations rather than out creating them. That way, they make sure they belong to that tribe. See the reason why they are doing this, because they want to still belong to the tribe. They don't want to be outcast. Okay, they don't want to be too different from their family members, and then they are not part of the family anymore. Yeah, and some of you or most of you know what I'm speaking about when you are too different from your family members. Yeah. So, yeah, at one of my pragmatic psychology classes, which I teach worldwide, a teenage girl said that in her high school, everybody tries to figure out where they belong and who their people are. Okay. She said it creates so much stress to try to belong somewhere and constantly be doing what they have to do in order to belong. Belonging means longing to be. Now, why do we long to be our entire lives? We already are. You already are complete. Belonging to a group or a family that has the don't go about the raisin mindset makes sure that you will never be the greatness you truly are. You will continue to adapt to the standards of the group you have chosen, hoping that you will be accepted and maintain being accepted. See, this need not just apply to family. This can even apply to if you're working in a corporate, you choose a group of people to hang out with. If you are in a hostel, then you choose a group of friends you hang out with. Um, it can also be the group of neighbors whom you hang out with, and then you adopt to their standards, so that you can belong to them and you don't look too much alien for them to be expelled from their group. Yeah. Now this is a brilliant and a brave question. Have you ever truly been accepted anywhere? You may be tempted to say yes. However, I would suggest you to ask this question again. Have you ever truly been accepted anywhere? Or like so many of us, have you always been the one that never really fits in anywhere? Yes, Abhirupal. No, right? Like, why not just face what is and start enjoying it? Yeah. As a young person, for years, I tried my best to be normal. It lasted only so long. What threw me off was the fact that I was always way too joyful for the standards of normality. How many of you can relate to this? This type one. What threw me off was the fact that I was always way too joyful for the standards of normality. For example, looking at the sky would be such a joyful thing for you. Going and just looking at playing with pets may be some of the most one enjoyable thing, and people around you were like, "What? Like, what about this is so enjoyable? Like, what is it that keeps you hooked to perhaps to this nature or to this trees or to this plants or to whatever you do?" How many of you? Hmm? For example, my high school in Austria, a Catholic girls' school, required to wear a uniform that was blue skirt, blue blouse. I was known for having creative ways of having fun with the uniform. It was in my nature to do what I could do to find a way to make this work for me, and I did. They wrote about my uniform style in school's newsletter. Another example came from church. I would pretend to faint to get out of the service. The priest had way too many fixed points of view for my taste. So instead of torturing myself by listening to them, I got out of there. I found that pretending to be a victim works in this reality. How many of you have done that, and how many of your children or your parents are doing that right now? That is how the systems are set up. There is nothing wrong with it. It is just the way it is. The question is, how can you use this for you rather than suffer through it? And everywhere we are unwilling to do that and be that, can we not destroy it all of this? Yeah. Good and bad, right and wrong, talk and broad, all nature's voice provides and beyonds. I love the second part that I'm going to read. Children are brilliant at this. When they do not want to go to school, they know what to do. They pretend to be sick. They know that sickness gets you out of doing what you do not wish to do. And now comes the critical part or the sad part. Adults know that too. Okay? Adults know that too, except they are not as smart as children. So what part they are not smart at? They would rather judge themselves and torture themselves and their bodies with doing what they think is right. When they call in sick for work, they make themselves sick in order to prove that they are good people. Yes, as stupid as it looks, um, most of us have been doing this beyond what you would like to admit. How much do you manipulate others and yourself with your weakness? How much do you manipulate others and yourself with your weakness? Don't you laugh now? It just gives away your secret. This is one of the ways people make sure that they belong by suffering the rightness of other people's point of view rather than choosing what works. Hmm? They are dramatic rather than being pragmatic. Pragmatic means doing what works and not judging yourself for it. And now the list of some questions. How about allowing yourself to trust that you do know what works for you? How about allowing yourself to trust that you do know what works for you? How about allowing yourself to do what it takes to get what you desire and not make yourself wrong for it? Why would you pretend that you are less powerful than you are? Why would you make life more difficult than it has to be? Everywhere we are doing this and we are being this, can we now all just run and get all of this? Good and bad, right and wrong, talk and pod, all nine shorts, boys, co-eds, and beyond. Now, what is the problem? The problem that people create is buying their own strategies as real. Hmm? They make themselves become their strategies. This deeply limits who they are and what they are capable of. Now, like what exactly they mean? Your point of view actually creates your reality, right? So, for example, if you have got a lot of attention from your parents when you were sick, pay attention. Like this is rampant, and this is not just applicable just for a health area where the example is being given. It applies to even other areas as well. For if you got a lot of attention from your parents when you were sick, you probably used the strategy of illness to get what you wanted. Okay, clear up until now? Hmm? I'm going to repeat it. If you got a lot of attention from your parents when you were sick, you probably used the strategy of illness to get what you wanted. As an adult, you may continue with that, except you forgot that it was a strategy in the first place. So what do? You create an identity around being the sick one. Your body gets sicker and sicker, and you wonder why. Again, your point of view creates your reality. This is a powerful idea to which we will return often in this book. Being the sick one becomes a story that explains your reality of being who you think you are. This is what we began with. The story. We try to make our story real. So, being the sick one becomes a story that explains your reality of being who you think you are. Stories are used as reasons and justifications for why you do not have a choice and why you cannot change what you desire to change. And everywhere we are using these stories and we are being at the effect of our own stories. Can we now just run and fit all of that for all eternity, please? Yeah. Good and bad, right and wrong, pock and pod, all nine shorts, boys, co-eds, and beyonds. So while listening to this call and while reading this book, ask for the change and allow yourself to perceive what is possible. Okay? Because people think that their stories are what define them. Their stories becomes who they are. This is a very interesting um, way where we are creating our life based on the story, and also it gives you a great sense of clarity as to why we create things that look so illogical, that look so insane. Like uninviting money, uninviting an amazing relationship. Yeah, when things are going well, sabotaging that so that you cannot receive from people who truly actually care for you. Yeah, so be present, and even if you don't get it right away, it's okay. Allow this energy of this to sip in and an awareness to come in whenever they are right, okay, and whenever you are ready. So don't put pressure on yourself to receive everything that we are covering here. Instead, what if you can ask, um, what would it take for me and my body to receive the energy of all the possibilities that are being discussed here? Even if I don't understand, even if I don't believe in them, and even if it looks so impossible as per my current reality. Okay? Yes, everywhere you are unwilling to choose that and have that. Can you all know the until all of that, please? Good and bad, right and wrong, pop and prod, all nine shorts, boys, robots, and beyonds. Okay. Their stories become who they are. Because I'm a psychologist, clients tell me stories about their childhoods. Some clients are interested in discovering their jewels by receiving their past. However, most people, however, use their past as a reference point to determine how the present and future will be. Like, how many of you right now are using the story of your life? So become present to any one story that you are telling yourself. That doesn't allow you to have great joint communion with your family members. I'm just giving you 30 seconds to become present to the story that you are telling. The story can be the complaints, the point of view that they have, the reasons and justifications that you have of why you cannot and will not receive or contribute from your family members or with your loved ones. At least become present to any one or two. Okay. Now, some questions. How are you using your past as a reason and justification for why you do not have a choice? Or as a gift that tells you more about what is possible? The secret is everything can be gift. It is up to you to whether use that um, as a hurdle or to use it as a stepping stone to move further. It's all about your perspective. It's all about the point of view. And that is why we are looking at the different points of view of how the world is functioning, how you are functioning based on your past, and how you can now choose to function in the future going forward. Yeah, I love this. A problem is just a possibility with a point of view attached. A problem is just a possibility with a point of view attached. Once you remove the point of view, you can enjoy the possibility. So, whatever is your point of view that is right now limiting you in any area of your life, get present to that, okay, and use this. Like, this problem is just a possibility with a point of view attached. Once I remove the point of view, this very problem can be a reason where you can enjoy a new possibility. And everything that doesn't allow that, and everywhere you're pretending that you do not understand this, or you cannot choose this, and you cannot have this, can we all know discordant with all of the things? Good and bad, right and wrong, talking about all nine shorts, boys, boys, and beyonds. Hmm? And some of you would know this. Anytime you use the word because, like, I would love to have a wonderful time with my family, but I can't because I would like to receive from my family, but I am not able to because. So everywhere you're using the because. Okay, so just become present. So anytime you use the word because, everything that comes after because is how you justify why things are the way they are. Okay, these are the answers, like whatever story that you're telling after because, are the answers you brainwash yourself with rather than asking the questions that open up for new possibilities. Hmm? I love this. There are three main reasons that um, people give for not being able to change their condition. The first one is lack of money. The second one is that I can't do this because I'm sick. And third is I do not have time. Okay. Now, the thing is, no one can argue with the lack of money, time, and disease. Okay. So what are you making real that is not? Now, your point of view creates your reality. So if you have any vestment or vested interest in being sick, you have the potency to convince your body of being sick. Every time you say I'm sick, you create sickness and tiredness in your body. Is your body truly tired, or have you convinced yourself that it must be tired? Hard-hitting question, at least for those who are having struggles with your body right now. Every I am story, like I am this, I am that. Every I am story and the definition you tell yourself about who you are. Okay, sorry. Every I am, like anywhere you're using I am, every I am is a story and a definition you tell yourself about who you are. With every I am, you limit yourself accessing everything else you are, and you limit your receiving too with that. Okay, the universe likes you. In fact, it loves contributing to you. Every molecule of the universe desires that you receive its gift. Are you receiving it? Hmm? Not if you buy your own story. The only reason you may not be receiving the gift that every molecule in this universe is designed to contribute to you is because you are buying your own story. Yeah. There's one story that Suzanne shares here. I studied Latin in school, and the first 2 years I was the best in my class. Yeah, my teacher asked me to be a tutor. My fellow students did not approve of my success. However, because it wasn't cool to be good at Latin, as a response, I started to fail. I created the point of view that I cannot be so good. This was obviously not because I could not do it. I had poisoned my success by buying other people's point of view and making them mine. I was not willing to be just as successful. Like how many times do have a like we buy into the point of view of our surrounding and we give up being who we are and we stop our receiving. Yeah. Those points of view are created by us in a heartbeat. Most of them are not even cognitive. Most of them are not even cognitive. You are not aware of them. Becoming aware of the points of view you create as real is the starting point of change. Becoming aware of the points of view you create as real is the starting point of change. So right now, the story that you're telling yourself, if you tell yourself, you know what, this is real, like this is not a point of view. This is a fact. This is real. This is what is the story of my life, and it is not a point of view. So when you start recognizing that you are trying to make that real, is the starting point of all change. Cool. Any questions so far? Anything that you can relate to with your life? Any insight that you have or any questions that you have, you can now just unmute yourself and ask and share. Who is going to be the first one? Or everybody's going, let someone else go and then I will start. Yes, Darshini.
Yeah. So, how you were mentioning that there could be a situation or a story that you buy into always. So, for me, I have seen whatever the scenario be, uh, when I look at the thing that is always limiting me is like for anything, any situation, I'll think is like, I don't want to get stuck. I don't want to get stuck in this. I have that fear somewhere I'll get stuck in life. And in different forms and different stories that comes to me again and again. I I wanted to know if there's something I can do to clear this or something.
Well, what like this it's great that you became aware that you have the story that you will get stuck. Okay. So just become present to this point of view that you have about your life. And
Mhm.
guess what you're going to create in your life as your life? Stuckness.
Stuck.
As your point of
Yes.
view, it's your
Yes.
reality. Yeah. So
Yes.
becoming present that you are the one who's making it real. So most of us try to, like when I first heard this, okay, Abhirpa, I'll come to your question once so most of us think that because I had these repeated instances in my life, I have this point of view.
Mhm.
So it is real, and that's why I have this point of view. Not that I created this point of view, and now, because of my point of view is now creating my reality. So we look at the other way.
Mhm.
So whatever it is, just know that your point of view creates your reality. So whatever point of view you have, whether it is real, whether it is based on your past experience, and howsoever many times it has repeated itself, the question is, would you want to continue to recreate this in your future, or would you like to have a different possibility?
Different.
Yeah, so we would like to have a different possibility. So in that case, so would you want to make this point of view real? And recognizing that we are trying to make this point of view real is a stepping stone. Just
Mhm.
acknowledge, cool. For whatever reason, I am choosing to make this point of view real. At least for the next 10 seconds, the last 10 seconds, I have been choosing that. Okay. And now what else can I choose? And you can constantly talk and pod this point of view that you have every time it shows up. And of course, was it really yours in the first place? Or you saw it happening in your family? Or you saw it happening in someone else's life, and then you heard it from many people, and then you made it yours, and then you started experiencing the same, and you are like, cool, yeah, it must be true. My family member, I saw that in my family member, my friends also said that, and now I am also experiencing this, so this must be true. And this is how we make a point of view real, and we create our life and our relationship and the stuckness based on those point of view. So everywhere we bought into any point of view that doesn't actually serve us. Okay, can we all understand and get out of it, please? Good and bad, right and wrong, talking about our nature's laws and beyond, and what would it take for us to recognize that? Asking question, is it really mine or is it someone else? And return it back to the center with consciousness attached, not by it as yours. And please know it is going to be a muscle. Okay, perhaps the first 10 times, 20 times, you may not be able to see the effect that you would like to see with this clearing for some of you. Yeah, great, great, Gaurav. Okay, so but you still be willing to see that every choice you make is what creates your future. So what choice you are going to choose now in the next 10 seconds, whether or not you want to believe it, but do you even desire it? Yes, we desire to have a life where we are not at the effect of our own points of view. So I would rather just choose to have something different. And for the fun of it, you would choose to pocket pot it, or you choose to return it back to the sender, and you invite some new possibility by being in a question. Yeah. What energy, space, and consciousness and choice can we and our bodies be to invite a possibility beyond our wildest imagination, beyond our own belief, yeah, beyond what we think is actually achievable, and everything that doesn't allow that can be all understood and fit all of these.
Yes.
Yeah, good and bad, right and wrong, talk and God, all mantras, voice, poets, and beyonds. Cool. So instead of judging yourself that, oh, I have this point of view and that is what is creating and what do I do? Cool, talk about it, return it back to the center, and invite a new possibility with a being in a question. Not that you, and you don't have to know how you are going to invite that. Being in a question is you changing, you inviting a different future from, and this future may be somewhere in perhaps 10 years, 20 years, 10 decades, perhaps 10 lifetimes in the future, by asking a question repeatedly and by choosing to be in a question, you kind of tuck those possibilities somewhere in the future, and you invite it in your present. Okay, so even your external world may not have any visible scope to fit this amazing possibility that you would desire. Still, you may want to invite and be willing to be surprised. Yeah, awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, that contributes. Yes, Radhika, you had something to share or you have some question?
Yeah, I had a question. Am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are
Okay.
very clear. Go ahead.
So, Mr. Pillai, you had mentioned that, a lot of times we buy into our parents' reality and we somehow do not want to outgrow them because you want to fit in.
Right.
Now, so to give my example, I've been into a decently well-off family, business family, me and my brother, and we've had a bit of an abusive childhood. And he moved out to US. I'm based in India. He's outcreated his reality. He's a millionaire. He's got his own house, the pool, and all. I, being on the other side, if I may say so, much more smarter than him. I don't know if I can say that word without sounding pompous. But however,
Are you judging yourself?
but I have not been able to create that kind of reality. I've done well for myself, but uh, and I don't buy into the point of view that I have to fit into my parents' shoes, so to speak, or to fit into their reality, or they would feel bad if I don't outgrow them. So where am I limiting myself? And what can I do to change
Cool.
that?
So everywhere you are, cool. Thanks. So everywhere you're comparing your life with your brother's life. Okay, and everywhere you are trying to judge yourself
Justify.
based on how, yeah, judge yourself based on what he has achieved in his life. Would you not destroy and pick all of this?
Yes.
That bad, right, wrong, backward, all nature's boys and beyond. So all the projections and expectations that you have of how your life should have turned out based on what is the reference point? The reference point is where your brother has reached. So if you didn't, if you had no reference of your brother, okay,
Okay.
of what he has achieved and what he could have achieved, if you look at your life, would you feel good about your life?
Yes, I do. I do feel
That's
good about
so
my life.
you exactly because you already said while you were asking this question, like you have done well. So this is how we judge ourselves. We try to compare ourselves with others, and that is a short way to always feel less, because you will always have people who are doing phenomenally better than you.
True.
Okay,
And somewhere I'm
so
getting
you
the
will always
feeling
have
that
people.
this judgment is not even mine. It's probably belonging to my parents who, because I'm living with them, I'm picking it up from them, I'm perceiving their judgment
Thank
and
you.
owning it nicely.
Thank you. Thank you for admitting that. And how much, how, as I said, like how much of this judgment that you think you have is not, doesn't belong to you and it belongs to your parents. Where they are choosing to judge you based in comparison with your brother. And how much of that you bought as real and true. So everywhere you have bought that judgment is real and true. And everywhere you are not willing to acknowledge the phenomena that you already have created in your life, would you now be willing to destroy and all of this?
Yes.
Yes? Good and bad, right
Yes.
and wrong, talk and bad, all nature, boys, wax and beyond. Know that you have no competition. Like you are you, and even I can bet you now, even right now, with whatever privilege he has, the kind of life that you are living right now, the kind of privilege that you are getting to experience right now, I don't think he's experiencing the same level. He may be
That's true.
experiencing it differently.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
that's
that
true.
is the uniqueness and difference that we bring to this world, and that is what we need to recognize. Okay,
True.
so
And
like
the,
to just put, yeah.
the other thing is that
Go ahead.
more that I'm buying into my parents' point of view and perceiving their point of view that I'm not generating enough or creating enough, the more I'm actualizing it. And I want to get out of this rut of actualizing their point of views as my reality. Wow. Okay. So what do I do about
Cool.
that? That's the crux.
Yes. So you just choose not to buy into their point of view and not to judge yourself, and be willing to receive you and see you for what you have created. So
Okay.
everywhere you are, it is just a choice. And please know that you are not in a prison, like they are not imprisoning you. It is you who are trying to make their point of view real and true, and trying to fight for and trying to fight against. So everywhere you are aligning and agreeing and resisting and reacting to your parents' point of view. Would you know destroy and fit all of it, please?
Yes.
Good, bad, right, wrong, talk about all natures. voice provides and beyond. So what if their point of view is just their point of view, and it is just an interesting point of view, and it has no relevance to where you are and what you are and what you could choose to be. And everywhere you are trying to make their point of view relevant and their judgments relevant to your life. Would you now, all of you here, just run and put all of it, please?
Yes, across all spaces,
Yes,
dimensions, and realities.
शशि
Exactly.
तेरा
So
मोबाइल बज रहा
how
है
many,
अरे
so
पीछे
how
रह
many of us,
वो शांत
how many of us are vested on resisting and reacting to our parents' point of view? Okay, fighting for or fighting against our parent point of view, instead of choosing to be in a space of cool, interesting point of view that you have this point of view, an interesting point of view that I have my point of view. Like everywhere
Mr.
we are
Pillai,
trying to make the other people's point of view. Yes, Radhika.
please continue. I'll share after that.
Yeah,
You were doing
so,
a clearing.
yeah, that's it. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. So everywhere we
I
are
would-
doing that and being that. Can you comment all of it, please?
Yes.
Yeah. Get back by jump off for all initial voice progressing beyond. Yes.
So how come, I think instead of asking how many of us are mimicking our parents' point of view, I think the other way you should ask, which would be a smaller amount, is how many of us are not mimicking our parents' point of view. I think that number would be much more smaller. Most of the world is mimicking their
Yeah.
parents' point of view. How do we come to be that? And consciously, what can we do to create the next generation which is more aware and not do that?
Okay, good. So there can be so many different ways. I mean, as I just shared these tools already. However, it is about being willing to be different and being willing to acknowledge that right now you are buying into their point of view. Let's just admit that. Begin from where you are and not from
Yes.
where you want. Okay. Admitting that you have bought into their point of view, you are now choosing to belong to them, belong to the tribe. So you are willing to limit yourself and be as per their point of view. Okay. Just admitting where you are already and also knowing that why you are doing that. Okay. And then asking question, is it really creating greater for you? By doing this, are you truly generating the life that you desire, or you're just trying to live the life of your parents so that you can always be in their good books? So everywhere we want to be the good daughter, the good mother, the good sister, and the ideal mother, ideal daughter, ideal sister, so that you can be praised by them as if, look, like if you have to become some mother, you should be like her. If you have to be a daughter, then you should be like her. So everywhere you're trying to be that, okay, that inspiration uh, which your parents want you to be, can be all now destroyed and all of the please.
Yes.
Good and bad, right and wrong, talking about all these voice, provides and beyond, and also recognizing that we have a vested interest in that. We want to be in the good books, and this very thing about this very I would say the vested interest of being a good person is what is the catch and the trap. So what if you can be wrong and be free rather than try to be right and good and be trapped? So what are we trying to do? Yes, Mama, you are right. What you're saying is right. Okay, I should improve myself. So you are agreeing to their point of view, aligning to their point of view, and trying to fit into their reality and feel trapped. Or rather, you just choose to acknowledge that you are wrong, whatever you like, admit that you are wrong, admit that you are not good enough. And that is how that is what you are. And you don't have to actually go into comparison, and you don't have to even go and prove. The only competition that you have is, I mean, you actually don't have any competition, but the only time when you start judging yourself is by buying into a point of view.
True. That is
So
so
you are
true.
judging yourself by buying into a point of view that your brother is actually doing better. Your brother is doing better in his own way, and you are doing better in your own way.
True.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
We judge
also
everything.
buying to their point of view.
Yeah. We judge everything in terms of money.
Yeah.
And that's where we go wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, money, perhaps the amount of property, amount of the net
Net worth.
amount you have in the bank. That is how we are trying, and that's what this book is about, and that's what all the access classes are about. Okay, it's not about I can give you an answer here and that can set you free. It's about it's for you to like. It is almost for me. It's like This insight should hit you like a ton of bricks. Oh my God, I
Yeah.
am buying into my parents' point of view here. And I'm trying to, align and agree, understand, and react to it. What if we can just make it just allow them to have their point of view about you, and you have your point of view about yourself? And it takes courage because no one else around us are choosing that. So since no one else are choosing for themselves, you feel that I also need not choose for myself. What if you can actually choose yourself? Even no
Wow,
one
that
else
is
is choosing
so
for you.
expensive. Yeah, that is so expensive.
Yes. Thank you. And everywhere we are unwilling to be that kindness for ourselves, and everywhere we are unwilling to honor ourselves for who we are, can we all understand and fit all of this?
Yes.
Good, bad, right, on for all issues, pros and cons. Thanks, Farida. Welcome. Great. So I
Thank you
hope
so
that
much.
helped. And please know it is an ongoing journey. Don't expect this energy that you are right now. I can perceive there can be some energy that is still holding you. Okay. It's not that you are entirely free and you have got a total clarity. It is an ongoing exploration. And that is where you don't have to push yourself to create a result. You just be willing to play and explore with different questions, different books, different calls, and whatever different way of you doing the clearing. Be willing to play around us and
Correct. And just be present. I
allow
think
things to
just to
show up
be
when they.
present more and more. Catch myself,
Yes,
check
yes.
myself.
Yes. And I'm not to go into wrongness even if you chose to judge yourself in the past. Like for next 10 seconds, you have chosen to judge yourself up until now. What else can I choose now? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Thank you. Thank you so much.
great. You're welcome. So says, okay, Avirupa had to drop away. Is Avirupa here? Okay. She had asked a question. I think I'll skip that. Sonia says, Mr. Pillai, what about being in the middle of the family issues that have become my responsibility and me creating what seems like more people disliking me because they are coming from the area of creating ease or lower consciousness? Most certainly, I would think. Okay, not too clear, but okay. So, what is your point of view here? That you can't outcreate your family, that you can't outcreate your family chaos and the family drama and drama. So everywhere you think that your family drama and trauma is so much more powerful than your choice, and and everywhere you think you can't outcreate that, and if everywhere you're bought that as real and true, can you and all of us here, can we all now understand and fit all of that for all eternity, please? Yes, good and bad, right and wrong, walk and God, all nine shows, boys, powers, and beyonds. I'm going to read this one para and let's see how relevant that is for you. And this is amazing. So, okay. Most parents think their job is to make you fit in and be normal. Okay. If you do not stick out from the crowd and manage to create a life that allows you to survive, they have, from their point of view, succeeded. I'm going to repeat this. Most parents think their job as a parent, okay, their job as a parent is to make their children, you fit in in the society, within the structure of society, and be normal. Okay, that's a target. Now, if you do not stick out from the crowd, like if you're not too weird, if you're not too different, okay, and if you do manage to create a life that allows you to survive, from their point of view, they have succeeded. Got it? Yeah. Now think about it in this way. Most parents have never been challenged by their parents to be everything they are. As a result, they don't think their job is to encourage you to be everything that you are. Most parents have never been challenged by their parents, like your parents have not been challenged by your grandparents to be everything that your parents could be. As a result, your parents do not think that it is their job to encourage you to be everything that you are capable of. Now, how much are you living your parents' life? Never sticking out from the crowd and pretending to be satisfied with surviving. You chose your parents' point of view, so you can convince yourself that you do not desire more in life. What if you can go beyond your parents' world? Is now the time. What if you challenge yourself to be greater than you thought you could be? Would you choose that? And everywhere we are unwilling to be greater than what we thought we could be, can we all now understand and figure out this? Good and bad, right and wrong, talking about all nine shorts, boys, poets, and beyonds. I have met so many people whose parents were long past, like they passed away, they moved on, yet they still refer to them in every choice they made. Very critical, okay? Looks insane, but truth. They would think, what would my mother say if I do this? Not even cognitively aware that they were having that point of view. Like most of us don't even are not even aware that we are actually asking this question and making our choice based on what our parents would approve ourselves to be and to do. Now, those points of view that people do not even know they are running their lives. So, what points of view do you have that are running your life? What would you like to choose as your life? And everywhere you're unwilling to choose that because your parents will judge you for that, and you will judge yourself for your parents to be judging you. Would you now understand all of that, please? Good and bad, right and wrong, talking about all nine choice, boys and beyonds. Now, I'm going to read this as well. The world we live constantly asks you to present yourself in a certain way, and you can relate this with yourself and with your situation. You're welcome, Bhageshri. Hmm. So, whatever group you are in, either whatever kind of family you belong to, and whatever circle you are associated with, there is a way of functioning that is right. Yes. Hmm? It is expected of you to say the right thing. They expect you to say the right thing at right time. Most people have diligently learned to respond to this way, acting in a certain way. Yes? Agree to this? Now, for example, now this is amazing. Like, it gives such a wonderful clarity. When you come home from a holiday and see your family, do you notice that you suddenly behave differently? Like, perhaps not a holiday, but perhaps you stay at some place and you visit your family. Perhaps, have you noticed that you suddenly behave differently? You are in a child mode, like you basically, and uh, start acting as if you're in a child mode. You adapt to your family and what they expect of you. You respond to what they desire you to be. If they desire you to be their sweet kid, or the one who always rebels, or the one who makes them uncomfortable because you're so different, you will deliver that. Like what they're talking is like if the parents have this point of view that you are a rebel, okay, or you are someone who always make the parents uncomfortable in front of others, even though you don't want to be that, you will still deliver that. Gaurav can acknowledge that. Whatever it is you are aware of and you pick it up, just the way your parents have been perceiving you since before you were born. This is information you have always been aware of, and you create yourself according to that. So with siblings, sometimes one is seen by parents. I love this. Okay, it's hilarious, and some of you probably it may be true. So with siblings, sometimes one sibling is seen by the parents as more beautiful than the other. How many of it is true? More smarter than other. Okay. Now listen to this. Parents project a point of view on to the beautiful one. So one is beautiful, one is smart. Okay. So to the beautiful one, they project this point of view. Thankfully, she is beautiful because she is not smart. Thankfully, she is beautiful because she's not smart. And onto the less beautiful one, they project another point of view. So Thankfully, she's smart because she's not that pretty. Now, children pick up all this information and create themselves accordingly. So, earlier, someone asked this question, like, how do we get out of this? First is to recognize that you are doing that. Okay. And this was amazing. Like, have you ever met a child whose reputation was to be out of control or a bad child, and they continued having that reputation through their whole childhood? Hmm? Like someone we have projected up, perhaps this is a negative judgment here, but what if it was a positive judgment? Whenever she goes, she's very polite with everyone. She does exactly what she's being told. This is the projection that if your parents have of you, you will choose to deliver that even though you don't like that. Okay. Why does this happen? Because they respond to what others expect them to be. So you are responding because that is what others are expecting you to respond. Now, kids are highly aware of their parents and teachers' judgments. They usually do not question. They usually do not question whether the judgments really have anything to do with them. Because they have learned to listen to their parents and other adults and take their words, spoken or unspoken, as a reality. So everywhere we have we took upon our parents and other adults and significant others in our lives and took their word, spoken or unspoken, as our reality. Can we all know the strong and fit all of that, please? Good and bad, right and wrong, talking about all nine shorts, boys, provides, and beyond. This clearing I think you can run 30 times a day for us, morning and the night, 30 times at least. Okay. Now, soon they think that this is now what happens is soon they think this is who they are. For example, if someone is addressed as a hyperactive one, or the angry one, or the out of control one, too sensitive one, too emotional one, that is the identity they take on. And even as an adult, even right now as an adult, what identity are you taking upon yourself? And how much of this has been projected upon you from your childhood? Okay. And that is how this becomes a trap. They identify themselves and define themselves by what has been projected at them. And this becomes a trap. The child has but no choice as he or she reflexively lives upon through the lies that determine who they are going to be. Everywhere we are buying this, and everywhere we bought this from our parents, can be now distorted all of the place. Good and bad, right and wrong, pop and powder, all mentors, boys, provides, and beyond. Yes, exactly. Even in adulthood. Can you share it in a group, please? Well, you may have to just, if anyone can go through this recording, I'll be uploading it, I'll be sharing this. If anyone can upload this, go through this and pick up this clearing, that would be great, and share it in the group. Very welcome. If I can manage to do that, I will do it. How was that for you guys? Like, just become present to all the n number of behavior, n number of limitation, n number of patterns of your life, and a number of behavioral patterns that you keep exhibiting is because of you buying into the projection of your parents, your relatives, that they kept bombarding upon you, and then you bought in. Now you're choosing to be that, whether it works for you or it doesn't work for you. So everywhere you are being stupid enough to buy into these insane parts of you, even when you are at the effect of this point of view, and still you will not choose, still you will not change, and still you will not alter. Can we all know the strength all of this? Good and bad, right and wrong, talking about all lines, all spoils, provides, and beyond. Now, this is a very powerful statement. If you resist and react against your parents' point of view, you will become it. If you agree and align to your parents' point of view, you will become it. There is no wrongness or rightness in your parents' point of view. They are all just interesting point of view, not a reality. And so many of you were asking, how do we really get out of this? This is one of the powerful tools. And believe me, I mean, you don't have to believe me, but you can just check for yourself. How much have you underestimated the power of this tool? Interesting point of view. You have this point of view. Like very powerful, very potent. Even even if you don't want to believe, and even if you don't see perceived change that you expect or to see when you use this tool. Okay, so would you like to know how to have more ease with this? How many of you? Would you like to know how to change your enslavement to your parents' point of view? Yeah, here is a tool. Get a gist of all the points of view your parents have about you. I would rather like all of you right now to type on the chat one point of view that your parents have of you that you are now being, that is limiting you. One point of view that your parents have of you that is actually limiting you, but you're still choosing to be that. Type in the chat, and then we will do the clearing, and we all will do this 10, 20 times together. For example, you should live and spend as much as money that your pocket can allow you to. You should always spend as much as the money in your pocket would allow you to. This is one of the point of view, and then you bind to that point of view and you don't spend. Neither you are willing to even desire and you even ask for beyond what you have in your bank balance. Radhika is saying, I'm not creating money as I should be to support myself and my daughter. Okay. And about that point of view. Others just type in.
Oh yes, I think I have bought it, locked it, and thrown the key away.
Would you allow yourself to be unlocked by this prison, even though you don't know where the key exists and he's there, with whom this is? And everywhere we are unwilling to allow this magic to show up. And everywhere you're unwilling to choose for yourself and have received this for yourself. And we all know the strength of all of it, please. Good and bad, right and wrong, talking about all measures, voice, provides, and beyond. I am the one who speaks first. Okay. So the tool is this interesting point of view that they have this point of view. All of you know this. However, let's say this again. Interesting point of view that they have this point of view that I am not, like, if I have to take Radhika's point belief here. Interesting point of view that they have this point of view that I am not creating enough money as I should be to support myself and my daughter. Interesting point of view. I have this point of view that I'm not creating enough money as I should be to support myself and my daughter. Interesting point of view. They have this point of view that I'm not creating money as I should be to support myself and my daughter. Repeat this 30 times in a day, 50 times in a day, like compulsorily. So I think one of the thing is in this call, you don't have to remember everything. Just pick up 2 to 3 things and start implementing, start using that as a tool. Okay, and then you can start seeing the change. You don't have to have everything. You don't have to get everything. You don't even have to go and listen to the entire call. Like, you do not have to allow yourself to shift and change because you have not re-listened to this call or not applied everything that has been spoken on this call. What if you can pick up just one thing or just 2 of it, okay, and just use it? It's okay. Yeah. Now say it again and again and one more time. And when you do this, like for Radhika, like, has it created some heaviness or is it more lighter? Is your world a little lighter than before or is it heavier than before?
Lighter. Definitely.
Yeah. So perceive the difference. Yeah, perceive the difference that you created and keep saying it until there is no heaviness anymore, only lightness. Okay, and now ask, what points of view do I have about my parents? And say it aloud. Interesting point of view that I have this point of view that my parents are like this. Interesting point of view. I have this point of view that I bought into my parents' point of view. Again, say it as often as required until there is no heaviness. Once you come to see that everyone's point of view are just interesting point of view, you realize that everything you have made real is not real. This gives you freedom beyond other people's judgment. This world is all about labels and judgments and definitions and decisions about who and what people are. But some people think, but that is all there is. That is how the world functions. Really? Is this all you are? Other people's judgments of you? Or you are so much beyond this? Do you have a knowing that there is more to you than the personality traits, than the judgments, and the decisions, definitions, and labels that you have been imposed by your family or your friends or your peers? Everything is absolutely not definable. The you that is truly you beyond the labels is not able to be put in a box. You are undefined and unconfined. Love this word, undefined and unconfined. When you define yourself or agree with others' definition of you, even when you resist them, you buy your own story as real. Like, I think the most important point is like, how much are we actually resisting our parents and friends' point of view about us? Because even if you're resisting, you are becoming that. Like how much we are trying to prove that what you are saying is not true about me. And what are we doing and becoming by in that process? You are actually becoming that. When you define yourself or agree with others' definitions of you, even when you resist them, you buy your own story as real. You tell yourself the story about how you grew up and everything that happened. You go on telling yourself how all that is the reason for everything that is not possible in your life. Like why perhaps you are telling yourself a story why it is not possible for me to choose something different that actually works for me because I have this story, because of this. So all of that because is just an interesting point of view. You are the one who are trying to make that clear. That is the beginning of you for the change. Like that's for you. This is the beginning to recognize. This recognition is the beginning for you to invite something new. Yeah. So everything that is brought up can be now dismantled all of it, please. So then back, right and wrong, pock and pot, all nine short spoils, poets and yours. You use your own story as a reason and justification for why you cannot create and why you. Okay, sorry. Okay, so what I find people do all the time is this. People use their story as a reason and justification for why they cannot create what they truly desire to create. And how many of us here on this call are telling ourselves the story, I cannot create this in my life because I do not have this. Perhaps it may be of finance, perhaps it may be because you do not have enough certifications, perhaps you do not have enough qualification, perhaps you do not have enough skill, and how much of the story that you are telling yourself is not even real. What have you defined and confined yourself as? What have you defined and confined yourself as? So when you keep asking this question, it will reveal everywhere you're trying to define you and everywhere you have tried to confine. And well, in spite of listening to all of this, if you are still choosing, okay, your limitation, there's no surprise. And why? Like, are you really willing to change what does not work for you? Really? As insane as it sounds, most people would rather hold on to their limitation than receive the ease of change. They say that they want to change, but they are so used to life being difficult that they need scientific evidence before they can let in anything that is different than what they have encountered so far. They love their brains and allow their brains to run their life. And what if it is applicable for you too? What if you can admit to yourself, I am interested in buying that my stories are far more powerful than the choice that I can make. Just admit to yourself. And it's okay. Admit. If on this call you happen to tell yourself that you like to have change, but you go back to not using any of those tools and go back to still using the same story, just recognize you are far more in love with your limitation rather than choosing something else. There is no wrongness to that life. Please know that. So at least you will stop fighting with yourself. Oh, why things are not changing? Why I'm using all the, like, how many of you think I have done so many classes, I have done so many clearings, I've taken so many facilitation, but this thing doesn't change? Because you love, possibly, most likely, because you love your limitation rather than having different reality. Please understand and recognize this is not logical or linear. It doesn't make sense, but still we choose it. And for me, at least, the way I began to shift is to acknowledge that, yes, I'm choosing this. Even though it doesn't make any sense, even though however stupid it might look, I'm choosing this. And I'm choosing to be as stupid as possible at this moment of time. And everywhere, okay, I'm pretending that I'm not stupid, and I'm pretending that I would like to be smart and intelligent and try to be someone who is conscious, functions from consciousness. I just run and fit all of that. Good and bad, right and wrong, talk and plot, all natures, voice, co-wax, and beyonds. So you can begin from there. Look, like, I think if you could change that one thing of really admitting that you are pretending most of the thing that is not changing in your life. Like, this is what I woke up, I guess, yesterday morning or day before yesterday morning. Like, I just became present to all the resources I have in my life. Okay. And all the change that I would like to desire in my life, and all the resources I have to achieve those changes. And when it comes to action, I'm just using 1 or 2% of all these resources. Okay, and I'm choosing to tell myself the story of all the different stories of how I'm busy, how I'm occupied, or whatever the story is, and trying to make that real, and not choosing the resources to actually create what I desire. Rather, I would choose to hold on to the stories of why I cannot choose to use those resources. And I was like, cool. So how much am I pretending here to desire the change? And what can change if I just admit that I truly do not desire to change? I actually love being in this drama and trauma of whatever the story of my life is. And that, the moment I admitted that, there was such a huge sense of expansive space. I can tell you how many of you could perceive that. Like, if you could admit this to yourself, like, it's okay to admit you do not desire ease. You rather love staying with the unease. Can you just admit that for a minute and see, does that create lightness? Like, let's repeat this. I am more interested in living with the story of my limitation rather than choosing something that would actually work. I love to stay with the limitation, with the story of limitation, than choosing something different that can actually work. So repeat the statement 10 times. Okay. And if you still find what would happen is you will actually feel light when you say these statements, because they are true. And the moment, if you can, the thing is, if you would hide this from yourself, you cannot change it. Okay. So allow this to get exposed. This is perhaps your secret agenda with your own life. Allow this to get exposed. You do not really desire result. You just love to, just keep coming up with one excuse or the another of why you cannot do something different. That is what you love about. And if you can admit that, then finally you can have the possibility to make a different choice. So everywhere we are unwilling to acknowledge this, and everywhere we love pretending and not even acknowledging that we are pretending, that we desire a change. Can we destroy and get all of that, please? Good and bad, right and wrong, pop and pod, all 9 shorts, boys, go west and beyonds. Okay. Cool. So that was it. 1.5 hour. And yeah, we have so everyone of you who took time to be part of this call. Thank you so much. And if this energy of this call was expansive, and some of you have already joined the class, but those of you would like to continue this exploration, you're welcome to join the further 5 calls in the next 5 days. The call price is priced 9 calls. So overall, it's 9 hours, priced at 4,500 rupees. I have already shared the details. So if you are part of Fairytale family, in the description there is already details of the amount and the payment link. If not, you're welcome to ping me. And yeah, you can invite others whom you think can benefit. And yeah, share the recording. I'll share this Zoom link. It works out today, or I'll share the YouTube link by tomorrow when the recordings are up. You're welcome to share it with others. And the timing is going to be 3 to 4:30 for the next 5 days. Yeah. Awesome, and thanks so much. And I would love to even receive your inputs of what shifted for you, what was your realization, whether you choose or not to choose to join this class. Still, you can leave your insight of what shifted, what changed, and perhaps that can, like so many of you sharing here, of what shifted for you and has shifted for others as well. So, what contribution can you be by sharing whatever shifted for you? Okay, so yeah, that would be my request of you all. So thank you.